My mother was my entire world. Everything I knew about love, about strength, about kindness, I learned from her. She was the one who taught me to ride a bike, the one who held me when I cried over a scraped knee, the one whose cookies could fix any bad day. In my eyes, she was perfect, superhero without a cape. That's the image I held on to for 25 years. But one rainy Tuesday afternoon, that image, my entire world, didn't just crack. It shattered into a million unrecognizable pieces. I remember the day so clearly. The sky was a gloomy shade of gray, the kind that matches a heavy heart. I had just finished a big project at work and decided to surprise my mom. I hadn't told her I was coming. I pictured her face lighting up, the warm hug she'd give me, the smell of her favorite chamomile tea filling the kitchen. I parked my car a block away, wanting to savor the short walk, the anticipation building with every step. Her house, the house I grew up in, always felt like a sanctuary, a place where nothing bad could ever happen. As I approached the front door, I noticed it was slightly ajar. That was strange. My mom was always meticulous about locking up. A little knot of unease tightened in my stomach, but I brushed it off. Maybe she was just getting groceries from the car. I pushed the door open gently, calling out, "Mom, I'm home." The house was quiet, too quiet. Usually I'd be greeted by the sound of the TV or music playing softly in the living room. I walked through the hallway, my footsteps echoing on the hardwood floors. The silence felt heavy, suffocating. I called out for her again, a little louder this time, a tremor in my voice I couldn't control. "Mom, are you here? Still nothing?" I went into the kitchen. A half-empty cup of tea sat on the counter, cold to the touch. The unease was turning into real fear now. My mind started racing through the worst-case scenarios. Had she fallen? Was she hurt? I hurried towards her bedroom at the back of the house. The door was closed. I knocked, my knuckles rapping nervously against the wood. "Mom," I waited. Silence. My heart was pounding against my ribs like a trapped bird. I took a deep breath and turned the knob. The door creaked open, and what I saw in that room, it stopped my world. It stopped my heart. My mother wasn't alone. She was sitting on the edge of her bed, her shoulders slumped. Next to her, holding her hand, was a man, but it wasn't my father. My parents had been married for 30 years. They were the couple everyone looked up to, the definition of a happy marriage. My dad, he adored her. He worked 2 jobs for years, just so she could stay home with me. He would bring her flowers for no reason and write her little notes he'd hide in her purse. They were a team. They were forever. And yet here was my mother with a man I had never seen before. The look they shared wasn't just friendly. It was intimate, filled with a history I knew nothing about. They didn't see me at first. They were lost in their own world. I heard him whisper something to her, and she gave him a small, sad smile, a smile I had never seen before. It wasn't the bright, joyful smile she gave me or my dad. It was different, weary, complicated. I must have made a sound, a gasp, a whimper, because their heads snapped in my direction. My mother's eyes widened in shock, then in sheer panic. The color drained from her face. She quickly pulled her hand away from the man's, as if burned. "Honey," she started, her voice a strained whisper. "What are you doing here?" I couldn't speak. "Okay." The words were stuck in my throat, choked by a wave of disbelief and betrayal. The man stood up awkwardly. He looked like a normal guy. He wasn't some monster. He was just a man, which somehow made it all worse. He muttered something about needing to leave and quickly scurried past me, not daring to make eye contact. And then it was just the two of us, me and my mother. Or me and this stranger who looked just like my mother. The silence in the room was deafening. I just stared at her, waiting for an explanation that could somehow fix this. Waiting for her to say it was all a big misunderstanding, that he was a cousin, an old friend, a financial advisor, anything. But she just sat there, her head bowed in shame. Finally, I found my voice. "Who was that?" I asked, and the words came out cold and sharp. She flinched. She looked up at me, and for the first time in my life, I saw tears in my mother's eyes that weren't from a sad movie or from laughing too hard. These were tears of deep, profound sorrow. "It's complicated," she stammered. "Complicated. My parents' perfect marriage, my perfect family, my entire childhood was complicated?" The dam inside me broke. "Complicated, Mom. What is going on? What about Dad?" The name hung in the air between us, an accusation. The thought of my dad, so loving, so devoted, completely oblivious to this. It was like a knife in my gut. How could she do this to him, to us? Over the next hour, through sobs and long, painful silences, the story came out. A story I never could have imagined. The man was her high school sweetheart. They had been deeply in love, but her parents disapproved, and they were forced to break up. She met my father shortly after, and trying to mend her broken heart, she married him. She said she learned to love my dad, that she truly did care for him. But a part of her heart had always belonged to this other man. It reconnected a few years ago, and one thing led to another. She told me she was unhappy, unfulfilled. Words I never thought I'd hear from her. My mother, the pillar of our family, the one who always seemed so content, was living a lie. The cookies, the warm hugs, the perfect family dinners. Was it all a performance? A role she was playing? She insisted her love for me was real, that it was the one pure and true thing in her life. But how could I believe her? Everything I thought was real had just been proven to be a carefully constructed facade. I felt like I was drowning. My hero had fallen, and she had taken my whole world down with her. The betrayal was immense, but underneath it, there was a confusing flicker of something else. Pity. Seeing my mother so broken, so lost. It was heartbreaking in a way I couldn't comprehend. This wasn't a monster. This was a woman who had made a terrible mistake. A woman trapped in a life she hadn't fully chosen. I left her house that day without another word. I couldn't look at her. I drove aimlessly for hours, the rain blurring the world outside my car, mirroring the chaos inside my head. The hardest part was the secret I now had to carry. What was I supposed to do? Tell my dad and destroy him? Or keep silent and become a part of the lie? That day changed everything. It's a wound that is never fully healed. I'm learning to see my mother not as the perfect hero I once did, but as a flawed human being, capable of great love and great mistakes. It's a painful, messy process. Our family is still navigating the fallout. Some days are better than others, but that rainy Tuesday will forever be etched in my memory as the day the ground beneath my feet gave way, and I saw the heartbreaking, complicated truth about the woman I called Mom. If you or someone you know is struggling with difficult family situations or mental health, please know that you are not alone. Reaching out to a therapist or a support group can provide a safe space to process these complex emotions. There is help available, and there is hope for healing. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.